Well, happy International Women's Day, everyone.
Happy International Women's Day.
You know, it's 2025 and everyone's talking about AI, right?
It really is all over the headlines.
So, uh, we decided for this deep dive, we take a look at all these articles that have been coming out about women in tech who are really kind of leading the charge in AI.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting, too, is that we also have some articles here talking about the potential AI bubble and how this could even affect ETFs. So there's a lot to unpack here.
There really is a lot to get into.
So to kind of get us started, I think it'd be good to start with, there's a lot of really interesting stuff here about specific women who are just crushing it in AI.
Yeah.
And, I think this is important because we see their names in the headlines, but who are they really? And what are they doing that's, so innovative and so impactful?
Right. Exactly.
So why don't we start with Caitlin Smallwood?
At Netflix.
At Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone uses Netflix, but who knows what goes on behind the scenes, really?
Right.
What's she doing there?
Well, she leads the whole team that's behind those personalized recommendations that we all see.
Oh, wow.
For, millions and millions of users.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's scary, right? Like,
It's a little creepy.
Netflix knows what I want to watch before I do.
Right.
So what's she doing that's so, innovative in that area?
Well, her team, they use machine learning to personalize those recommendations.
Okay.
But it's not just, based on what you watched before.
Right.
They're using information like what time of day you're watching,
Oh, really?
what device you're using, and even how long you typically watch certain genres of shows or movies.
It's like they're building a psychological profile on all of us.
It really is quite sophisticated.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on because, we have all these great women to talk about.
We do.
I think another one that really jumped out at me when I was going through all this material was Surbhi Rathore at Symbl.ai.
Oh, yeah. Symbl.ai is doing some really fascinating stuff.
What are they doing?
Well, they're using AI to basically revolutionize how we communicate.
Okay.
And it's not just, looking at the words that we're saying.
Right.
They're analyzing things like tone pauses, all the little emotional cues that happen in conversations.
Wow.
Which is really incredible if you think about how that could, really transform things like virtual meetings, customer service calls, even therapy.
Yeah.
Mental health therapy.
That's huge. I mean, that could really change the way we interact with technology.
Absolutely.
For sure. So we've got Caitlin at Netflix, Surbhi at Symbl.ai. Let's keep going.
Okay.
So I was also really fascinated by the work that Salima Rice is doing.
At Accenture.
Yeah.
What's her focus?
Well, she's all about leveraging AI for social good.
Okay.
So she's leading all these different projects that are using AI to address some of the world's, really big problems like poverty,
Okay.
inequality,
Right.
and even climate change.
So, for example, one of the things that her team is doing is using AI to analyze satellite imagery to try to identify areas that are most vulnerable to things like natural disasters.
Oh, wow.
So that they can help direct aid and resources more efficiently.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I always think about AI as like this kind of cold technology, but
Yeah.
to think that it can be used to really address these human problems,
Right.
it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And last but not least on our list of amazing women in AI, we have to talk about Susan at the Pause Technologies.
Oh, yeah. The pause technologies, that's another really great.
And they're focused on women's health, right?
Exactly. So
Right.
they're developing a bunch of different AI-powered tools that address a whole range of issues that women face, from early detection of things like breast cancer
Okay.
to personalized fertility tracking and even mental health support.
Wow. Yeah, these women are really incredible. It's so inspiring.
It is.
But, you mentioned earlier the AI bubble, and I think it's a good time to kind of transition into that because, we're celebrating all this innovation, but there's also this underlying concern about how fast everything's moving.
Right.
So what are some of the things that people are worried about when they talk about this AI bubble?
Well, one of the big concerns is a potential skills gap.
Okay.
So as these systems get more and more sophisticated, we need people who are trained and ready to actually develop and implement and maintain them.
So it's like we're creating all this amazing technology, but we may not have the workforce to keep up with it.
Exactly, and that's a big problem.
Right.
And then the other challenge is regulation. As these AI systems become more and more integrated into our lives,
Right.
we need to make sure that they're being used ethically and responsibly.
And that's tough because the technology is moving so fast.
Right.
The laws and regulations are always going to be playing catch up.
Exactly. It's a tough balance to strike.
So it's not just about the cool stuff. It's about making sure that we're doing it the right way. So how does all this fit into the bigger picture of the financial markets? Because that's another thing that we're looking at today.
Yeah, so we have all these articles about ETFs.
Right. ETFs, exchange-traded funds, for
Yeah.
anyone who might not be
Yeah.
familiar. But basically, they're like these baskets of stocks that track a specific index or sector or commodity.
Right.
So how does AI play into that?
Well, as AI keeps growing, it's really starting to drive a lot of trends in the ETF market.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier the DAX index,
Yes.
which includes a bunch of German companies that are, some of the big players in AI development.
Right.
And they've seen huge gains recently.
Yeah, like that 15.26% jump.
Exactly. Investors are seeing this, and they're essentially betting on the future of AI.
Right.
And women, like the ones that we've been talking about, are really the ones who are shaping that future.
Yeah. And it's interesting to see how this kind of connects to the little book of AI investing that we have here.
Yeah.
Because they actually highlight how women-led firms are becoming more and more influential in these AI-driven ETFs.
Right. It's a really exciting time to see how these women are not only innovating in the tech world,
Yeah.
but they're also making a huge impact on the financial markets.
Absolutely. So it's International Women's Day, and we've been taking a look at all these articles about women in AI, and, it's been a pretty incredible journey.
It has.
I mean, we've gone from personalized entertainment to social good initiatives and even women's health. And I think it just shows how these women are paving the way for a future that's going to be shaped by technology and innovation.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, with AI advancing as quickly as it is,
Right.
what other, groundbreaking solutions will they be a part of in the years to come?
Right. What other problems will they solve? And what other innovations will they bring to the world?
Exactly. That's something for us all to think about.
And that's something for our listeners to think about as well.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll see you next time.
See you then.